It is a hot, hot night here at Boutwells Bowling Center. Attention bowlers, we are gonna get started. Welcome to Concord, New Hampshire. This is the ACST E North Finals. It is Mark Milliken versus Matt Powers. I am Steve Kelly. For the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour and 3-Ball Spare Conglomerate, it's great to have you along with us this evening in the capital of New Hampshire at Boutwells Bowling Center. It's going to be a great match for you this evening. And again, in case you missed it, we're at Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. We're going to be seeing Mark Milliken battle Matt Powers this evening here on Sunday, June 29th. This not too hot, not too cold, just right summer evening here for some Candlepin bowling. The match format in the playoffs is 5 strings in which total pinfall determines the winner. The winner of Class E North faces Jesse Mondor of Class E in the Southern Conference of the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Mondor beat Gerard Hogan 530 to 526 at Millis. So thanks for tuning in. Again, the match was played on Sunday, June 29th, 2025. And we are just about ready to get started. So folks, have a couple things to talk to you about. First of all, if you've never seen Candlepin bowling, I hope you enjoy the match today. This is a unique take on bowling from the heart of New England, as well as Eastern Canada. This broadcast should have subtitles and live captioning enabled, so do enable it if you enjoy this feature. So the bowlers are just about ready to get started, and I'm giving them the thumbs up just to give them the indicator. You know, we're real high-tech communication here, the old thumbs up. We got Mark Milliken, our away bowler. He will be throwing the inaugural ball. So this, so consider the transcript feature if you're watching this from YouTube later on. And here's the first ball for Mark Milliken. We're off to the races. Mark Milliken takes down 8 on the head pin. It was a great way to start it. He leaves the 7 and the 9 on the deck. So hot evening for Mark Milliken. Getting things going. So Mark Milliken threw a ball, dropped 8. So hot he had to change shirts. Going for the spare leave on the 7-9. And he was a great bid. He'll connect with the 8, tried to sweep to the 7. Excuse me, the 9, tried to sweep the 7. But couldn't quite get there. As you do. And he'll be shooting for a 10 box. And he'll get that 10 box. That's Mr. Mark Milliken. Here on the ACST, let's look at Mark Milliken's stats this evening. So, talking about Mark Milliken, our number 1 seed in Class E North Division 2, and the number 2 seed in Class E North overall. We'll talk more about his stats in a little bit, but here's Mark Milliken returning to the lanes on lane 5, and he's off to the left. He'll drop a few pins, 5 pins to be exact, a 2x2 grid, leaving the 1, the 3, the 5, the 8, and the 9. On lane 5. We're in Concord, New Hampshire at Boutwells Bowling Center, in which the Mixed Worlds just completed. Actually, literally, there are people still in the building from Mixed Worlds, and actually I had to usurp Greg Guyar's spot for this match, even. So if you were just watching Mixed Worlds, welcome back. It's been, I know, all of maybe less than an hour since that concluded. And here's Mark Milliken with a 9. And actually, I got a little ahead of myself and pre-programmed the 9 by mistake, but it ended up being indeed a 9 box for Mark Milliken. That's 19 after 2. For our bowler from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Mark Milliken has a season average of 106.21 and a home average of 106.47 and a away average of 105.96. And that was during the regular season. And there's Mark Milliken on the head pin once again, dropping 8, leaving the 6 and the 9. Mark Milliken, 19 after 2. 2 for 3 on the head pin. First and third frames, first ball was a great head pin shot. Definitely a strike bid kind of shot. So Mark Milliken in the regular season was 185 and 67, a staggering 2.76 win-loss ratio after 18 matches in the regular season. Milliken just a little bit off to the right. At home at Portsmouth Bowl-O-Rama, Mark Milliken is 88-38 with a 2.32 win-loss ratio. Away, he's 97-29 with a 3.34 win-loss ratio. Milliken, who missed the spare, is going for the 10. He'll chop one and leave the other stick. That'll be a 9 and 28 after 3 for Mark Milliken, who has a high single of 139 and a high series of 639. That's right, you heard it. 639, Mark Milliken. Incredible high series for the gentleman. To give you some perspective, that's nearly my high series in Class A, so that is not unimpressive to say the least. Mark Milliken drops 7. 3-6-10. I don't have my own stats in front of me, but I believe I threw a 645 at Portsmouth against Steve Poulin earlier this season in Class A. And so Mark Milliken, who threw a 639, he nearly matched that. So Mark Milliken bowling out of his mind to get to the finals here in the playoffs. And he nearly goes for the spare, and he leaves the 10. It was a good bid on paper. Just sometimes they don't go. Mark Milliken has 46 strikes, 177 spares, and 192 tens with a 46% perfect box percentage. 9,559 seasonal total pins was Mark Milliken's total during the regular season, just a little bit shy of 10,000. He finished first place in Class E North Division 2 and the number 2 seed in Class E North overall. And that will be a 9 box for the gentleman, Mark Milliken, 37 after 4. We have Matt Powers waiting in the wings, and we will be talking to him shortly when he's up on the lanes. So don't worry, our home bowler is just about to come up in case you're waiting for him. The bowlers bowl one at a time. Away bowler first, Mark Milliken on lane 5 here at Boutwells Bowling Center. Home of the Mixed Worlds 2025, which went into overtime. That's why we started a little bit late this evening because we just had to wait for everyone to clear out. We were scheduled for 7 p.m., but we just had to wait a little bit later. It's about 7:30 p.m. local time. That's a 1-3-4-6-7 for Mark Milliken after the first ball. And the second ball, well, he was a little bit full in the head pin and leaves the 4 and the 7. Mark Milliken has 6 matches this season at or over 550 in grand total pinfall. He has 1 match at or over 600. That's at 639 high series, as I mentioned. 6 of his 18 matches are with shutout victories, and he has 13 out of 18 matches with double-digit wins in the regular season, not counting the playoffs. That's an 8 for Mark Milliken, and that will put him at 45 after 5 for Mark Milliken. A couple of missed spare opportunities and a couple of just bad luck shots. He went 3 for 5 on the head pin with 1 split, 10-9-9-8. That's the story for Mark Milliken. And now, our home bowler, Mr. Matt Powers. And here he is. He'll punch a bunch. Remember, The Price is Right? I like that game too. 3 drop, I believe. Second ball sails right where the first ball went. Excuse me, it was a 2 drop, not a 3 drop. Right side half Worcester. I thought that was a 3rd pin down. My eyes are deceiving me a bit. Hard to see sleeper pins sometimes. Matt Powers going for the recovery on the 3rd ball, and that will put him at 7 after 1. That's the story for Matt Powers after 1 box so far, and we'll show you his stats in just a moment here, once we have a free moment in between the pin center interlude. Lane 5, Matt Powers. He's on the pocket. He'll punch 6. The banana split 6 drop, we watched Chase Abramczyk make this, an incredible spare leaf conversion for Chase Abramczyk recently on the other side of this bowling alley. And Matt Powers plays the wood on the right side of the banana, and it cuts, well, it doesn't cut, it just kind of curls around the 6 pin, takes no pins. And Matt Powers, he almost takes it, though. That would have been pretty regardless. That's a 9 box for Mr. Matt Powers. Here he is, the man in the flesh, Matt Powers, with a season record in the regular season of 190 and 62, and he averages 106.32 in the regular season. He had an incredible first season in the ACST in Class E North. Here is Matt Powers off to the left, and he'll punch another half Worcester on the left side this time. The 2 and the 8 are taken out. Matt Powers has a home record at Boutwells Bowling Center of 102 and 24. That is not a typo. 102 and 24 with a 4.25 win-loss ratio. One of the highest win-loss ratios I've seen in the ACST. Matt Powers just could not be stopped, especially in the later half of the season. We'll talk more about that streak in a little bit. Off of the spare leave, Matt Powers will take a 9 box, excuse me, not spare leave, 10 leave, you know what I mean, 9 box, 25 after 3. And I do have a score correction. Mark Milliken appears to have a 44 after 5. I will check to see what happened there. It looks like he had a 9 in the first. So that's the correction, 44 after 5 for Mark Milliken. I am following the scoreboard. Whoa. Well, that's a leave I don't know if I've ever seen. What was that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, 6, 3. So the mini rack and the 7. It's a 3 drop, if you could believe that, on the head pin. And it looked like a strike bid, just didn't go down. Matt Powers, so again, when he's away, his win-loss ratio is a little bit less dramatic. It's 2.32, 88 and 38. He leaves 6 on the deck for the second ball, and the third ball will be a 9 box. Both bowlers just having some trouble getting started. Mixed Worlds must have worn the lanes out in some way. So Matt Powers again, number 1 and number 1. Number 1 in E North Division 1, and finished the number 1 seed in Class E North overall, to give you an idea of how he got to the final round. In the regular season, at least. Matt Powers off to the left. He'll drop 7. That's the 1, the 3, and the 7 on the deck. Another makeable spare leave if you just know where to put the ball in the pocket of the 1-3. Kick the 1 to the 7. That's the operative gap closer that you need to aim for Matt Powers. And yep, that ball was right approximately where it should have gone, but it was a little bit too full. And when I say it's too full, I meant it went directly back. So it connected with the 1 and the 2, but it kind of shot them directly backwards. No lateral action. There's a 10 for Matt Powers. So both bowlers go markless at the beginning. And I will double check what the score is as soon as the scoreboard finishes doing its little 10-box animation. It is 44 for both bowlers, confirmed after 5. So we are tied half a game into this first of 5 here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, the Class E North Finals. And it's going to be Mark Milliken for the first time this evening on Lane 6 at Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. And I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Great to have you along with us. Lane 6, Mark Milliken. Let's go. Well, we certainly went. That's a 1 drop on the 7 pin from Mark Milliken. Bit of a misfire. I had the pleasure of speaking with Mark Milliken before the start of the match this evening. He's known as the Trucker. I coordinated him with the nickname of $1 Million Milliken way back at the start of this season. Mark Milliken was actually one of, if not the first match I streamed in the ACST this season at Portsmouth Bowlorama, so it's kind of fitting that we start and end with Mark Milliken in this season. He runs a business, courier business, in which he'll, you ever go to a party and you have a little bit too much to drink and, driving is kind of a no-no? Well, Mark Milliken's got you covered. You ever contact him, he can come and chauffeur you to wherever you please. Might I suggest if you're ever at a concert and, too many drinkaroonies, Mark Milliken's got you covered and will cover you. Anyways, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, got 4 drop from Mark Milliken. He connected to the left of the head pin. That's a right side 6-pack. Check his ID. And we ID at Boutwells Bowling Center, a great bar here. Right next to Sabrin Pizza, in the same parking lot as Boutwells Bowling Center, and really, really great sandwiches there. I had a turkey sandwich at Sabrin the other day when we had a tournament at Boutwells Bowling Center, and I highly recommend it. And you can even talk with the front desk, and they'll even order it and have it delivered to Boutwells. And Boutwells also has a bar and taps right in the same building, so you can always check that out as well. That's a 60 and 7 for Mark Milliken with that 8 box. That is confirmed. Again, my apologies for having the first box as a 10 box initially. It was a 9 box after following the bowlers. The bowlers are the ones with the official scores. I am just following it unofficially. There appears to be a pin that is, you might see it there poking out of the right side channel. So we'll just hold for a moment while that is clearing. Holding. I don't know if my apologies. Apparently cleared on its own. Sorry about that. But anyways, that's a 9 drop for Mark Milliken. I would have felt even worse if that was a strike, so he leaves the 7 on the deck. 9 drop, single pin opportunity for Mark Milliken. Mark Milliken versus the 7-pin. Oh, and he's just a little bit to the right of the 7-pin. Just couldn't quite tail right to left. Just enough. I know I've been there. I missed a few of those singles this past Wednesday at Lakeside. So it'll be Mark Milliken versus the 7-pin, and he's got his 7-pin. He'll miss the second and get the third, and that is a 10 box for Mr. Mark Milliken. We call that a Paul Grant special. Miss the second, get the third. Big thanks to Paul Grant and Greg Goyar and Bob Lee, Kevin Burns, and everyone else who was covering the Mixed Worlds here at Boutwells just a little while ago. They just cleared out. Well-deserved rest for all of them. Bob Lee in particular, a long drive back to Western Mass, and there's the 189 incident for Mark Milliken. Holy moly. That's the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Gotta love that shot. It's one of the most infuriating shots you can get in Candlepin bowling, so it looks like a shot that could have otherwise been a strike. We've seen Keith Beaupre actually make that shot in the Friday Night Pro League. I believe I covered that match in the Friday Night Pro League when he made it at Academy Lanes on lane 2, if I'm not mistaken. Lane 2 or lane 3. That match is on Candlepin Bowling Network if you want to check that out. I think there even is a YouTube short of it on Candlepin Bowling Network. Oh, and well, I do enjoy symmetry. That's the 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. That's a 5 box for Mark Milliken. That will put him at 75 in 9. And if we have a quick moment, here's the playoff picture. Here's how Mark Milliken and Matt Powers got there. Matt Powers defeated Dave Yagi, and Mark Milliken defeated Todd Holbrook. That's how they got here. And that's a 5-drop Kaleri for Mark Milliken. Named after Bob Kaleri of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. My best way to describe the Kaleri is the 4 horsemen left to right side plus the opposite sleeper pin. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9 for Mark Milliken. Versus the Kaleri, he'll take the 9 and convert it into a 4 horseman. Here we go. Here's the graphic of the Kaleri. Again, that's how the Kaleri is presented, and then it became a 4 horseman. Very similar shot names. And he almost runs down the 4 horsemen. He takes the 3 horsemen for a 9 box. Bit of a rough start for Mark Milliken, and that will put him at 84 in the first game. 84 no marks for Mark Milliken. Mostly 9s and 8s, 110. The 5 box is the only bit of an outlier. That's the story for Mark Milliken. So here's Matt Powers. Talking more about Matt Powers. Matt Powers prepared a statement that he wanted me to say on the air, so I will gladly present that for him. He says, quote, "I'd like to give a shout out to all my family and emo family in attendance and those at home." We'll talk about what that means in just a moment. But for the spare bid, Matt Powers leaves the 7 and the 10. Matt Powers is a big concert goer. He's a fan of the 2000s emo and punk scene, such as the Warped Tour, Avril Lavigne's Simple Plan, All Time Low, Bowling for Soup, etc. And there's an 8 box for Mr. Matt Powers, 52 and 6. Matt Powers grew up in a similar era as myself, so the quote-unquote emo punk scene of the 2000s. If you're kind of an elder millennial, such as myself and Matt Powers, you'll understand that whole phenomenon and that whole experience that was the 2000s and the punk scene. But all those bands are mostly largely still active, and actually they've kind of had a resurgence in most recent years. I know I went to Boston Calling a couple of weeks ago. There's a spare for Matt Powers. Holy moly, it took us quite a while to get things going, but Matt Powers is on the board. That's our first mark of the match, actually. That's 62 and a bonus and 7 for Matt Powers. That is confirmed. But anyways, so I went to Boston Calling recently. All Time Low and Avril Lavigne were there, and then last year it was Simple Plan, Avril Lavigne, and what was the third one? It'll come to me. Sum 41 at Mansfield at the Xfinity Center, and they've been all up and down the East Coast and the U.S. They are very busy. 5 fill and nearly a conversion for Matt Powers on that spare. It's a great one to watch. So the 5 fill puts him at 67 and 7. And Matt Powers, I believe that will be a 10, and it is in as a 10, 77 in 8 for Matt Powers. We have Ed Sargent on the electronic scoreboard down there. Ed Sargent, impressive bowler of himself. He made the spread eagle for a spare at Boutwells a few weeks ago, or months ago at this point. Forgetting where we are in time and space. There's a split and 7 drop for Matt Powers. That's the 3-7-9. Matt Powers has a home average at Boutwells Bowling Center of 107.36 and away average of 105.29. High single 147, high series, high 5 of 584, and he'll play the 3 and the 9 and leave the 7. Tough shot, tough leave. So Matt Powers currently in control here. Again, the format of the playoffs is not who wins each game with points. It is all about the grand total pinfall. So on your screen, you will see a couple of notations in the upper left mini-map. And when it comes to that, we're going to talk about the leads. In the first game, they both represent the same, but those will diverge in the second game as we start talking about the total versus the game lead. There's a 2-drop and a left side half Worcester for Matt Powers. Half Worcester, punch out the 2 and the 8 or the 3 and the 9. We call it the half Worcester. If you take out just the 2 or the 3, is known as the quarter. Thin hit on the head pin will leave the 5, 6, 3, 7, 10 for Matt Powers. And he'll take the check mark on the right for a 9. That's 95, game 1 for Matt Powers. Again, it is not about each individual game. It is about the grand total pinfall. Currently, Matt Powers has a lead of just 11. And that's basically just a spare and a 1 fill when you think about it. So plenty of games for that lead to get passed left and right. One bad game does not make a bad match. So 95 Powers, 84 Milliken. Matt Powers up by 11. Let's move on to game 2 now. It's going to be Mark Milliken down there. I'm Steve Kelly back there for the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour and 3-ball spare conglomerate on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook. And later on, we'll have this up on 3-ball spare on YouTube. Mark Milliken missed the head pin, but he'll get a split credit because the head pin fell eventually. That's a 6-drop for Milliken. It's a Caleri minus the head pin, the 2, 4, 7, and the 9. Mark Milliken has a head pin average in the regular season at 22.9 for 50 with a split average per match at 9.4. Here's Mark Milliken, who bowls out of Bowl-O-Rama in Portsmouth. Portsmouth, New Hampshire on the seacoast. And the thing about Bowl-O-Rama, it was one of the very first houses I bowled out of for a major tournament. That was the Youth ICBA in, I want to say, 2006, 2007. They're still here today. There's a great cleanup by Mark Milliken and a great 10 box for the gentleman himself, 10 after 1. And that is a 10, I confirmed this time. In his final 5 regular season matches, Mark Milliken took 51 points, averaging 10.2 points per match. In his past 5 matches, past 5 regular season matches, he totaled 27.67 in total pinfall, averaging 553.4. 7-drop for Milliken, missed the head pin. 4 horsemen minus the 7 is the 1, 2, 4. And for the spare, he's just a little bit off to the left. Mark Milliken had 14 out of 18 matches in the regular season, totaling at or over 500 in grand total pinfall. His longest streak of strings at or over 100 has been 12. And there's a 9 box for Mark Milliken, $1 million Milliken. The last time he faced Matt Powers in round 9, he took 4 points with a 535 series, 3 strikes, 9 spares, 11 tens, 25 head pins, and 9 splits. Oh, and there's a head pin shot, and that was a beauty. That was almost a strike for Mark Milliken. He'll drop 9, leaving the 6 on the deck. $1 million Milliken the trucker. Mark Milliken returned to bowling 8 months, well, not 8 months ago. He had a 22-year hiatus. I wrote that note way back in the early fall, so it's more than 8 months ago at this point. And there's a spare opportunity on the single pin that he just missed off to the left. Mark Milliken has had a greatly improved average. At the start of the season, he was averaging 92 to 96. Now he's averaging 106.21 in the ACST, at least at the end of the regular season. He'll take a 9 box in the third for 28 after 3. And Mark Milliken, he is a dedicated gentleman. He's been practicing at least 3 to 5 times a week, just really making sure he gets his reps in. You know, like when you go to the gym just to build the muscle, build the gains. Well, Mark Milliken, we can talk about the gains. Going from a 92 average all the way up to a 106.21 average. Bowls in Portsmouth with folks such as Steve Davis, Al Johnson, etc. He'll drop 5. Missed the head pin there. It's the 1, 3, 7, 8, 10 for Mark Milliken. Mark Milliken he's currently 6 for 14 on the head pin with 2 splits. He takes all but the 7 on the spare shot. He's averaging 6.1 on the first ball on average. Averaging on average, yeah, that's not redundant at all. Here is Mark Milliken for another 9-box, third in a row, and that is a confirmed 37 after 3 for Mark Milliken. At the end of the first game, Matt Powers threw a 95, and Mark Milliken threw an 84. That's a difference of 11, specifically. At the end of the first game, at least. And here's Mark Milliken. He'll go to the right of the head pin and take down 6, and that's the 4 horsemen left side. 1, 2, 4, 7 for Mr. Milliken. Milliken, nice spare. That's his first one of the match. Great shot. Let's take a look at that again. 1, 2, 4, 7 for Mark Milliken on the 4 horsemen left side, and there it goes. Goodbye. So let's check out Mark Milliken at the half. He's at 47 and a bonus. That's his first spare of the match so far. I'm sure we'll see plenty to follow. And here's Matt Powers all the while, though. Mr. Powers, he has the powers. He also has a spread eagle as a 4 drop down the center. 1, 5, 8, 9. Matt Powers up to this point has been averaging 4.4 on the first ball, so he has a little bit of ground to make up here, but he did finish the first game plus 11 overall. It's about grand total pinfall. So you'll see up in the upper left mini-map, now that we've diverged past the first game, the top number you'll see is for the grand total pinfall with the difference in the center and the gray, and almost for the 10. He'll leave the 10 pin for a 9-box for Matt Powers. So you'll see the 131 and the 104, that's the grand total pinfall as of this very moment with a difference of 27, and then the current game is 47-9 at this uneven point in the game. Bowler initials at the top, and second of 5 means second string of 5. Matt Powers on the head pin, and he'll drop 8, 6, and 9. 6, 9. Nice for Matt Powers. Matt Powers will take 1, leave 1. Sometimes you gotta take 1, and sometimes you gotta leave 1. And 2 9s for Matt Powers, 18 after 2. Last time versus Mark Milliken in round 9, Matt Powers took 10 points in the regular season against him. That was the last time these two bowlers met. And Portsmouth, he bowled a 537 series with 2 strikes, 10 spares, and 12 10s. And on the head pin, he drops all but the 5. Another head pin shot, steadily improving on the first ball. Matt Powers is. He leaves the 5 pin for a single pin spare. Matt Powers had 34 head pins and 19 splits, 34 for 50 on the head pin in round 09 against Mark Milliken. And there's a spare for Matt Powers, his second of the match on the single on the 5 pin, 28 and a bonus after 3 for Matt Powers in this Class E North final in the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Who is King of the North in Class E? Who do you think is going to be King of the North? Let me know in the comments. It's Matt Powers down there, the home bowler. I'm Steve Kelly back here. And on the head pin, filling the spare with, it's an accordion shot. It's a 6 fill. I'll put him at 34 and 3. Mr. Matt Powers. He punched out 1 on the accordion. One of those shots where really not a whole lot to do. When it comes to that, he'll take a 9-box with that mess, 43 and 4. Again, here's how to read the scoreboard. I know I kind of read it off to you verbally, but here's the legend for that. The points don't matter right now because we are currently in the playoffs, so that's blacked out, but the match total and the game total is what we should be focusing on. And on the head pin, he'll drop 5 and split 5, spread eagle minus the 6. 2, 3, 4, 7, 10. 3 on the left, 2 on the right. Matt Powers for the spare. Oh, he's on the correct pocket. He took everything but the 3 pin. Only the 3 pin left for Matt Powers. And for the 10 box, it'll be 53 and 5 for Matt Powers, and that will be the story of the half for Matt Powers. 53 and 5 with 1 mark. Mark Milliken 47 and 5 with 1 mark. Still relatively even. It's a tentative difference of 17 minus Milliken's fill, so Matt Powers has plus 17 at the moment. So that's the current situation, and we are going to head back to Mr. Mark Milliken. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. I keep clicking the wrong button. Mark Milliken working on a spare. Oh, and another 189 incident, a 3 fill for Mark Milliken. That is rough. Second one this game. Again, we saw Keith Beaupre make this in the Friday Night Pro League at Academy Lanes. It keeps coming to mind because it was an incredible spare that Keith Beaupre made. And Mark Milliken, he'll take a few more out, leaving what is now the 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Accordion plus the 3. Just a real rocky road down there for Mark Milliken. No wood, for that matter, either. And he'll leave 7, a really unusual leave. That's 57 and 6 for Mark Milliken. That is confirmed. And the 53 and 5 is also confirmed for Matt Powers, while we're, actively thinking about it. It'll be Mark Milliken on lane 6. Opening ball, the 7th frame on the headpin. That was a much better ball. It'll drop all but the 5. All but the 5 for Mark Milliken for a single pin spare. Single pin spares are funny because they look like the easiest thing in the world from the couch, but when you're standing down there staring it down, Candlepin bowling is a lot of a psychological type of game in addition to a physical one. So it's a lot harder than it looks. Anytime you see a bowler miss it, and anytime you see a bowler make it, that's great. Well, anytime you miss it, though, it's one of those things where, don't go saying it's too hard, because when you go to try it, it's not like in 10-pin where, the ball is like a fifth the width of the lane itself. Candlepin balls are way smaller. So there's a spare for Mark Milliken, a second of the game. 67 and 7 plus a ball. He's 8 for 17 on the headpin with 2 splits. Here's Mark Milliken on the headpin again. 8 drop. A grade 8 drop, leaving the 6 and the 10. This could be his chance to pull ahead tentatively at the moment. High-powered fill and another mark, chaining those together. That's how you kind of start pulling ahead in Grand Total Pinfall, whether it be 1v1 or 5v5. And we had a whole great weekend of 5v5 matches in the mixed worlds here at Boutwells Bowling Center. I would tell you more, but that would be doing a disservice to the great work at Candlepin Bowling Network. So all their stats and facts and figures, how about just go check that out? Stats were posted on Candlepin Chat as well as Candlepin Bowling Network on Facebook. Candlepin Chat, there's a spare, though, for Mark Milliken. Excuse me, a 10. What am I saying? Brain said 10, mouth said spare. But that was actually his third ball. 85 and 8 for Mark Milliken. So that's a bit unfortunate, actually. He had a spare opportunity, just got the yips, but, the yips are also a thing in Candlepin, let me tell you. Mark Milliken punches a little hard. 4-drop spread eagle. Kika. Where's my spread eagle graphic? Here we go. Kika. Punch out the center, leaving the left and right wings. Excuse me, it's actually a 3-drop. There is a sleeper pin down there, so I stand corrected. It is still a talon spread eagle, but the 8 pin is back there. Sleeper pins are a little hard to see, depending on the house. Boutwells is one where I physically have trouble seeing them. 3, 7, 8, 10 for Mark Milliken on the spare shot. Leaving the skeleton of the bird, and he'll turn it into a 9-box. 94 in 9 for Mr. Mark Milliken, who's averaging 5.9 on the first ball. 19 boxes in, or 19 first balls in, for that matter. He's 10 for 19 on the headpin with 3 splits. Matt Powers is 9 headpins for 15 with 5 splits. And Mark Milliken, well, pins are still mixing. He'll take 6 down. 1, 5, 3, 8. 2 pieces of wood on the deck. One's going to stick around. The other will also stick around. I thought one was going to run to the right channel, but it decided to turn back. Milliken off to the left. 1, 3, 5, 8. So he's looking at a potential 104 second game for a potential 188. And there's a nice 10. That is a 188. A nice way to end it. Mark Milliken with 2 marks. He's at 104. That is confirmed. And a 188 grand total pinfall up to this point. With 2 marks. 3 fill, 8 fill for Mark Milliken. Much better second game. 188. Matt Powers now currently at 148 with that 53.5. Let's see where the evening takes us for Matt Powers now. And he's on that head pin. And he'll drop all but the 6. It is a single pin shot. Same parameters apply as to when Mark Milliken had his 5-pin spare leave on the single. It's just off to the right a little bit. That's all. Matt Powers fires. It's looking... Oh, I thought it was going to look good, but the ball was actually on a left curve trajectory, left tail trajectory. So it came close, but not quite close enough. Candlepin's a game of inches. There's a 10 box and 63 for Matt Powers. And what some might call a Paul Grant special. Miss a second, get the third. $1 donation to Candlepins per cancer per occurrence. We'll talk more about Candlepins per cancer in a little bit here. And here's Powers. On the 1-3 pocket, the 5-pin. 5 pins touched. 10 were touched, but the 5-pin was resilient. A lot of resilience down there on lane 6. So Powers versus the 5-pin with a lot of wood to help him. And there it is. And that's a spare for Matt Powers. Matt Powers is quite an audience in attendance here this evening. So that's 2 marks hit this game, matching Mark Milliken's. That's 73 and a bonus after 7 for Mr. Matt Powers. He's currently 11 for 17 on the head pin with 5 splits. Matt Powers on the head pin, oddly thin hit, but the pins are still mixing, actually way more, and the 2-pin slides left. That is wild. The 2-pin slid to the 2-pin, even Matt Powers, you can see that he can't believe it. The 2-pin became a pin that doesn't exist, but it didn't fall. It is credited as an 8 fill, I can confirm, but my goodness.
Touch it if you want to touch it! Come on, Matt, let's go!
And Matt Powers, with the help of the audience, really tried to get that spare, but he left a 10. And, ow, my ears. There's a 9 for Matt Powers. That's 90 and 8 for Mr. Powers. So Mark Milliken at 104, Matt Powers 190 in the 8th frame with 2 boxes to go. I use the terms frame and boxes interchangeably because in Candlepin we call frames boxes. Frames is more of a 10-pin term. There's a 5 drop and a split for Matt Powers. He's averaging 5.9 in the first ball. That matches Mark Milliken's average of 5.9 in the first ball. 1 ball behind Mark Milliken. 1 first ball behind Mark Milliken. Words are hard. And Matt Powers, well, that second ball would have been a great first ball, but it sails into the void, and the void stares back. The void. Brought to you by Matt Powers. There's a 6 box. So he had a 6 box, 96 and 9. Compare that to Mark Milliken's 94 and 9. With 1 box to go. To conclude the second game of 5, again, it's grand total pinfall wins. It's not about the individual games, so whoever is up or down in each game is just contributing to the differential. In the grand total pinfall, there's Matt Powers dropping 8, and he'll average 5.9 in the first ball. 20 boxes in, and so will Mark Milliken, so fairly even on the first ball completion percentage. Matt Powers is 70% on the head pin, Mark Milliken 50%. Matt Powers, tails to the left. Again, he's got that left side tail, and the ball doesn't appear like it's going to do that until about midway down the lane. Until it seems to grab the oil. And there's a 9 for Matt Powers, and that's 105. So the second game is 105 to 104. Very tight here. Difference of 1 in this game, and Matt Powers extends his lead from 11 to 12. Plus 11 in the first game. And he is now plus 12 as of the second game. It's 188 for Milliken and 200 for Powers. Here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Great to have you along with us. I'm Steve Kelly in the call. We are at Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Again, in case you missed it, in the capital of New Hampshire, 24 great lanes run by the Dellis family here. Alex, Dino, Dimitri. These gentlemen have been running all around today for Mixed Worlds. And big thanks and big shout out to them for getting that tournament up and off the ground and then safely landing in the airport. You know, I don't know, my simile allegory has gone completely off the rails here. Here's Mark Milliken with a 4-drop on the 6-pack of the left side. Check his ID. We ID'd Boutwells Bowling Center like we were talking about before. The 6-pack is something you can get on the left side or the right side of the deck. Oh, and Mark Milliken, that was a great shot in the pocket on the 1-2 pocket, and he left the 5. And only the 5. Just the way the pins broke and kind of curved around, and he left the 5 on the deck. Mark Milliken, 5-pin on lane 5. On the Canada side of this pair with the Canadian flag above him, there's a 10 for Mark Milliken. 10 after 1 for the gentleman himself. Mark Milliken, what more can I tell you about Mark Milliken? His longest winning streak of greater than 7 points per match in the regular season has been 6. He's been averaging 10.78 points per away match, 9.78 points per home match in the regular season. And he's on the head pin there, and he'll get just kind of a tough break, a drop of 7. That is the 3-6-7 for Mark Milliken. In his past 5 matches in the regular season, he had 11 strikes, 59 spares, 60 tens, averaging 2.2 strikes per match, 11.8 spares per match, and 12 tens per match. He took 4 points last time in the regular season versus Matt Powers. That was the last time these bowlers met. Then they went on their own success stories, going through the playoffs and defeating opponents to get them to this point. The winner of this match goes to battle the victor of the East Southern Conference. That is Jesse Mondor of East South. And there's an 8-box for Mark Milliken. That's 18 after 2. And here is Mark Milliken, and he'll drop 7. He's just getting these rough leaves because his hit percentage isn't bad, 52%. Just getting these splits, and I understand that when you get the splits and stuff, you can't really convert into spares because a lot of Candlepin is about the second ball rather than the first. Second ball will sail down the center. He'll leave the 7, the 10, and the 4 on the deck. Mark Milliken for the 10 box. He'll take 2 and leave 1. The safe way out. And that's 9 for Milliken. 27 after 3 for Mr. Mark Milliken. Well, let's see what Mark Milliken can do here. He just get like a mark or 2. He'll be right back in business. Again, the difference in the total is very slim. It's just a mark and a decent fill away from, hey, and there's a nice strike from Mark Milliken. It was a slow one, but it didn't go. It even caught me off guard. I'm sorry, I would have had a replay of that, but I actually took my hands off the wheel because I didn't actually expect that to go. So so that's 37 and a bonus for Mark Milliken. We were talking about marks, and he now has a mark opportunity. 2 balls will fill the strike. This is the opportunity to chain marks together. Obviously, you can get a double strike for a big 20 and a triple strike for a big 30 to pack that all into one frame. And let's see where this takes us. First strike of the match goes to Mark Milliken. 4th frame. Filling the strike. He's on the pocket. It looked good. Drop 8, though. 8 on the fill so far. 37 plus 8 in 4. Next ball will conclude that fill. Could be a spare on strike. Let's see what happens. Could be a big 20. Could put him at 47 and 4, and then 57 and a bonus and 5. If you can complete this spare leave, Mark Milliken working on a spare. Milliken fires, and he'll just miss off to the right, just a hair, not by much. It was a good idea. You want to connect with the right of the 2, but just missed it. Hit the wood in the back for the 10 box. And it will be an 8 box for Mark Milliken. That's 53 in 5 for Mark Milliken with 1 strike and an 8 fill. Mr. Mark Milliken's currently at 241 halfway through this match. So that's a deficit of 41 that Matt Powers has to find here at Boutwells Bowling Center. It's Mark Milliken versus Matt Powers. Matt Powers the away bowler, and Matt Powers fires, and he's got the 5, the 3, the 7, 8, 10. It's a 5 drop so far. 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 for Mr. Matt Powers. Is the 3, 5, 7, 8, 10. Connect with the 3, 5 in some way to get the spare. Matt Powers, he's got that left side tail. That right to left, very subtle movement. But it's robbed him of a few marks so far, and that time it just didn't connect with anything, really. And there was a shot. That was a miss the second, get the third. Still a great shot regardless. In fact, I'll even show you a replay of that because I really liked that. That was exactly on the 3-5 pocket, exactly what we were looking for. Too bad it was the third ball, but hey, that happens sometimes. That's a PGS there for Matt Powers. Matt Powers, left of the head pin, he'll drop 5. That's a Kaleri, so that could have been a 5 fill, but ends up just being a regular 5 drop on the first ball. Mark Milliken's first ball average has been steadily rising to 6.2 on the first ball. Matt Powers currently at 5.2. And on the Kaleri, Matt Powers runs down the 4 horsemen, but the sleeper is untouched. Just no sidewall bounce action there. Matt Powers on the remaining part of the Kaleri. He'll take a nice 10, a double X. 20 after 2 for Mr. Matt Powers. Matt Powers in the regular season of the ACST finished with 20 strikes, 202 spares, and 210 tens with a 48% perfect box percentage. Matt Powers in the regular season achieved 9,569 total pins, and will that be a strike? Well, not quite. I was hoping the break would prevent the split stat, but the 5 wiggles but doesn't fall down. The 7 pin is also there. 5-7 split, wood in front of the 5 for Matt Powers. Powers on the split with his ball that normally tails left, and wow, that wood just broke weird. 5 pin goes down, 7 pin untouched. Powers for the 10. That's a triple X throwdown for Matt Powers. 3 in a row, 30 and 3. Matt Powers, 3 matches in the regular season, totaling out over 550 in grand total pinfall. Unlike Mark Milliken, Matt Powers does not have a 600 match in the season. There's a 5 drop for Matt Powers. 6 drop, excuse me. Late falling pin, 7-10, 3-6. Matt Powers had 3 of 18 matches with shutout victories this season. 16 of 18 matches with double-digit wins. A head pin average per match of 29.57 for 50. And a split average of 16.67. Matt Powers bowls out of here, Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire on North State Street. In his past 5 regular season matches, the final 5, he took 58 points, averaging 11.6 points per match. To give you a perspective there for Matt Powers with a 7 box, 37 and 4. And that 53 half for Mark Milliken is confirmed. Again, the on-stream score is unofficial. I'm following the CompuScore scoreboard that is slightly in view, but not visible on stream. There's a 6 drop for Matt Powers and a split. That is the 7-10, 3-6. Matt Powers, 17 out of 18 matches in his regular season, totaling out over 500. And there's a spare. What an awesome spare for Matt Powers. That's a way to sit. In fact, let's take a look at that. The 3-6, 7-10 for Matt Powers. Look at that go. Kaboom, the slide, the sidewall action, the bounce, it was all there. That's 47 and a bonus for Matt Powers after 5-2, 47 and a bonus. Mark Milliken currently at 241, so again is very, very close. Mark Milliken currently has the total by 6, but Matt Powers is on a fill. So again, close matches are what we want to see, especially in the finals and the playoffs. Welcome to playoff bowling. If you don't like that, you don't like playoff bowling, folks. This is the ACST Finals, Class E North. Mark Milliken, lane 6. Off to the right, but got a good mix of 6, a bag of 6. 1, 2, 4, 8 for Mark Milliken. 1, 2, 4, 8 for Mr. Milliken. And will he get it? Oh, he had the right idea. He was right on the pocket. He's laughing, and, you know, I can't blame him for that. That was a great execution on that ball, but the 8 pin is left. And Milliken for the 10, and he's right on it, all over it, 63 and 6 for the trucker, Mark Milliken. Mark Milliken, pile of superlatives, as does Matt Powers, a whole lot, so bear with me as I try to list off at least a few of these for you without sounding too boring. Mark Milliken had the number 2 highest Class E average, 106.25, the number 3 Class E high single, 139, the number 1 Class E total strikes at 46, and there's a 6-pack and a 4 drop for Mark Milliken. Check his ID. I'd ask, but I'm all the way back here. Mark Milliken had the number 4 Class E average strike fill at 8.37. The number 1 Class E high series at 639. We talked about that 639. Ooh, and the 6-pack spare for Mark Milliken. That was a great ball. And we'll get a replay queued up that. Let's watch this. Look at that. The way Mark Milliken executed that on the 1-3, and he got the powerful left side sidewall to take the 5 and the 10. Let's watch that again while we have the time. 1-3. It was that head pin that went to the left and came back to the right to take the 5 and the 10. That was really the key there. Mark Milliken working on a spare. Oh, and I heard an You never like to hear an That's a 3 fill. That puts him at 76 and 7. That's the center diamond and the 6 triangle. Head Sergeant, I'm trying to make sure he has that recorded on the official copy down there. Head Sergeant, our official scorekeeper this evening. Mark Milliken on the 2 pin. He'll turn that into a right side 6-pack. Once again, right back where we started. For the 10. And he'll make it a pin still mixing an 8-box. 84 and 8 for Mr. Mark Milliken. 2 pins, 2 boxes to go for Mark Milliken. 2 marks, striking a spare. 84 and 8 for Mark Milliken. Matt Powers sitting on the bench. 47 and a bonus after 5. Mark Milliken has 4 for 8 on the head pin with 2 splits. Matt Powers currently 4 for 5 on the head pin with 4 splits. Mark Milliken off to the left, and he'll take what appears to be 3 pins out. Half Worcester plus DLC. That's the 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10 for Mark Milliken. Yikes. And off to the right. He's up for the 1, 3, 4, 7. And Mark Milliken will take a 6 out of that, leaving the 1, 3, 4, 7 on the altar. That's 90 and 9 for Mark Milliken. With 1 to go, he's currently at 278, 2.9 games in. Averaging a little under 100. Here comes Mark Milliken on the pocket. Oh, that was a great ball. Beauty. 1-2 pocket, left the 5 on the deck. 9 drop. Here comes Mark Milliken. Oh, just a bit of a stutter step there. Again, it was a single pin spare. Harder than they look, especially the 5 pin. I've missed plenty of those in my time. There's a 10 box. Missed a second at the 3rd. He'll take 100 in the 3rd. That's 288 for Mark Milliken. 3 games in. That 100 is confirmed. So Mark Milliken, 1 strike, 3 spares, 50%. The head pin exactly 5 splits, totaling 22 in Mark fills, averaging 5.5 per mark, averaging 5.8 on the first ball. And here comes Matt Powers coming off the bench on a spare fill. He's on the pocket. Pins are still mixing. Ooh, got a generous mix and a split of 8, a fill of 8. It was looking scary there for a minute, but extra mix of pins turned that into a grade 8 fill. Possible spare leave. It's the 510. That wood that's moving to the right, yeah, that was the wood I would have shot for, at least as a guiding point. But you can shoot to the left of the 5. The wood on the left of the 5 doesn't really help you, but it might be kind of a mental guide. Oh, but Matt Powers actually tried to approach it from a different angle from the right side. And, I briefly thought of that, but I kind of wrote it off. But, in some universe, that could have gone. So it's Matt Powers versus the 5 pin, and he'll take that for a 10. That's 65 in 6 for Matt Powers. Matt Unlimited Powers, who has his longest streak of matches at or over 100 in the regular season has been 7. His longest streak of matches at or over 500 has been 10. His longest winning streak, greater than 7 points per match, has been 12 this season. That's right, 12. That's a lot. He went 12 games in a row, just winning. And that's how you get to the playoffs. Matt Powers on the 1, 7, 10, 3. Oh, he almost broke it. He was on the opposite pocket. Good try. Not quite the direction I would have gone for, but it was still a potential possible spare shot. But c'est la vie. That's 9 for Powers, 74 in 7. Matt Powers is averaging 5.6 on the first ball. Mark Milliken is averaging 5.8 on the first ball. And Matt Powers, he just tailed to the left a little bit too much. He'll drop 3. And Powers will miss the target. Still a 3 drop. No spare. Looking to get a good out here. The difference in the total is still very slim. And Matt Powers is still largely in the driver's seat. That's a 5 box, though. That will narrow it a bit. Mark Milliken at +9, 2 boxes ahead of Matt Powers. So Matt Powers has to find just 9 pins to really, stay at even pace with Mark Milliken. But 9 pins and 2 boxes really isn't all that difficult, honestly. So Matt Powers, I almost said Mark Powers. Jeez. Wonder if I've said that already. There's a split for Matt Powers. That's the 3, 5, 9, 10. Connected with the 3-5 pocket is really the object pocket to go for. Have the ball bounce off the right side while I'll take the 10 or get some action. And well, in theory, unless it just jumps around the 10, that was a great bid for Matt Powers. Offer not accepted though. The 10 pin is all that's left, but that's Candlepin for you. That's what happens. You got to be prepared for that. Oops, that's a 9 for Matt Powers. That's 88 and 9. And that brings us at an even point in the total for both bowlers, but Matt Powers has 1 more box. So Matt Powers will be up by whatever he gets in this 10th frame. Matt Powers still in the driver's seat 3 games in by just a narrow margin. Matt Powers on the pocket. Oh, that was just what he needed. It's going to turn as the audience tries to direct. He'll drop 8. That is the 4 and the 7. This could be a spare, and this will be big if Powers can spare this and then get a decent fill to then extend his lead even further. He was +11 in the first. He was +12 in the second, and he's probably going to be about +9 or +10 now with that missed spare. Unfortunately, the wood, it was no fault of Matt's. It was just the wood didn't play ball. And there's a 10, and he's going to be +10. 3 games in, that's 298 for Matt Powers and 288 for Mark Milliken. Matt Powers has been in control. All 3 games so far, he was +11, then +12, and now he's +10, 3 games in. So that brings us 3 games in, and we're now going to move on to the 4th game here, this 5-game series here on the ACST. It is Mark Milliken, the away bowler, Matt Powers, the home bowler. I'm Steve Kelly on the call, and this is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. A great league run by great people, commissioned by Danny Finn, stats by Micah Imperato. Check it all out on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook. There's also an Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on YouTube as well. And it's also covered on Candlepin Bowling Network as well as 3-Ball Spare Conglomerate. Great matches. If you just search Candlepin ACST on YouTube, you're bound to find plenty of great matches. It's Mark Milliken. He was on the head pin. He's got the 4-6-3-10. Candlepin corner as well. Sorry, I failed to mention Candlepin corner entirely, and I egregiously apologize for that. Mark Milliken, who was on a 3-6 pocket, and he'll take the 3-6-10 out, but the 4 is somehow not touched. And that's a tough leave to get, or a tough leave to convert with that extra pin way off in the wilderness. Not easy to get. Mark Milliken, 9 or 10 box, and it'll be a 9 for Mark Milliken. Very, very close match. We like to see competitive matches, so no complaints here. To continue the lecture about Mark Milliken's superlatives, he has the number 2 Class E total spares at 177, the number 1 Class E average spare fill at 6.09, the number 2 Class E perfect box percentage at 46%, the number 2 Class E total tens at 192, and the number 2 Class E fused average pins left at 49.44. That's the story for Mark Milliken's superlatives, and I think he got them all in all the categories, so that's no small feat in Class E North. 1, 2, 9, 10 for Mark Milliken, a 6 drop. He'll punch the head pin hard. All over the head pin, but a little bit too much on the head pin, if you know what I mean. Mark Milliken, 2, 9, 10. For a 10. And he'll split the difference for an 8. 17 after 2 for Mr. Milliken. Basically, any bowler that can briefly flash white hot and get a string of, say, like 2.5 marks or so with decent fills, they're going to win this match and go on to face Jesse Mondor of East South. Jesse Mondor won his match in Millis, Massachusetts. Ryan Family Amusements. There's an 8 drop for Mark Milliken and a split. 310, or no, yes, 310 for Mark Milliken. No wood. No helpful wood, that is. Mark Milliken's going to take a long, hard look to think about that. And he's done thinking. He's firing. And that thinking paid dividends for Mark Milliken. Let's watch that shot again on the 310. Dink and donk. Got the double doink for the spare. 27 and a bonus after 3. Mark Trucker Milliken. $1 million Milliken working on a spare. Oh, no, punch 4. Another spread eagle. The spread eagle, caca, punch out the 1, the 5, the 8, and the 9. That's the untaloned spread eagle. There's a couple iterations, but this is the traditional academic spread eagle. And Milliken off to the right, he'll punch the 6. Even the 2, 3, 4, 7, 10. 31 after 3, plus whatever this ends up being for the 4th. He's currently 3 for 4 in the headpin. All 3 of those headpin shots this game have been splits. And that will be a 5 for Mark Milliken, 36 and 4. So hey, if you want something to do or you want something to watch this summer, the Amateur Candlepin Singles Tour Summer Tournament Series is in full swing. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Meanwhile, Mark Milliken dropping 9 with the 4-pin waiting in the wings for a spare bid, wood all around it. We had the first leg of the Amateur Candlepin this is always going to kill me. The ACBT, the Amateur Candlepin Bowlers Tour. A 4-tournament summer series at 4 different Candlepin bowling houses. And there's a spare for Mark Milliken, though. He's going to sit with 46 after 5. He's got 2 marks here. Spare 4, and then an open spare. 9, 8, 5 in the other open frames. He went 4 for 5 in the headpin with 3 splits, Mark Milliken did. He's at 334 for the total, plus a fill. That's the story for Mark Milliken right now. Steadily improving, and here's Matt Powers. So the ACBT, the Amateur Candlepin Bowlers Tour, the next stop is at the Bayberry Bowling Center in Spencer, Massachusetts. It'll be a 10-stringer with it's a handicap 10-stringer. That's a 3-drop for Matt Powers. The first event was the Scotch Doubles at Ryan Family Amusements in Millis, Massachusetts. That was a great tournament, great turnout. It was a doubles format in which each bowler bowls every other box. So it's a lot of standing and sitting, all throughout the day. But it was a 10-string format. Great conversion for Matt Powers on the 6-pack, though. I'll watch that again, actually, because that was a great shot, the way that pin action went. You see the way the 10 got kicked last? That was the end of that. But so in the Scotch doubles format, it's each bowler in the doubles pair bowls every other box, and it was a 10-string format, so it was basically each bowler only really bowls 5 games when you math it all out. 5, 7, 10, 9 lead for Matt Powers. I bowled with Brian Hebert, also bowled with plenty of great bowlers all around me that day, including Sarah Wright was with us on the lane pair. And Matt Powers will take a 9-box in the second. But yeah, it was a great day overall. Can't say me and Brian had the greatest day of bowling that day, but you can catch that tournament on 3-ball spare. I streamed it all day, at least to the best of my ability with an iPad on a stick setup. But if you want to watch that, go check it out on 3-ball spare on YouTube. Oh boy, there's a 2-drop for Matt Powers and a half Worcester 2-pin punch out. Punched out the 2 and the 8. Half Worcesters when you punch out the 2 and the 8 or the 3 and the 9. Oh, what an incredible half Worcester spare. That just lit this whole place up. Matt Powers with the spare in the 3rd. Let's watch that again. Oh, that was a beauty. On the 1-3 pocket, just blew it all up. That's how you demo what's left of that mess. Matt Powers now working on a spare, energized. He could be on the headpin. Well, tailed off to the left a bit, but still a good fill of 6. 35 and 3. 1, 3, 6, 8 for Matt Powers. Unlimited Powers. Will he take? Oh, the 1-3-6 got taken down. A spinning piece of wood and rolled to the 8, and it just got stuffed. I thought it was going to go. The audience wanted it to go. Matt Powers, 9 or 10. And he'll take a nice 10. Good out. 45 and 4 for Matt Powers. He's got 1 to go before he sits, but he's in good standing now because Mark Milliken's at 46 and a bonus. Matt Powers, 45 and 4. And it's a difference of +9 for Matt Powers, and he's 1 box behind to give you perspective in the grand total pinfall. It's all about the grand total pinfall, and he's on the head pin, and he'll take a quick 7. He'll leave the back right 6 triangle, 6, 9, 10. Matt Powers has been improving to a 5.2 first ball average. Mark Milliken, 5.9. Matt Powers, 66% on the head pin. Mark Milliken, 54% on the head pin. Matt Powers currently totaling 33 in bonus pins on fills and marks, averaging 6.6 per mark. Milliken totaling 26, averaging 4.3 per mark. And there's a 9 for Matt Powers. Let's assess where we're at in time and space here. Mark Milliken, 334. 3.5 games in, 46 and a bonus. So Mark Milliken's 334 plus whatever the fill is. Matt Powers currently at 352 with that open frame in the 5th. He's at 54 and 5 in this 4th game. And we're going to be returning to the decks of Boutwells Bowling Center. It's Mark Milliken down there. I'm Steve Kelly back there. It's great to have you along with us. Who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comments. It's very close. I have no frickin' idea who's going to win. So here's Mark Milliken all over it. Drops 6. Just a weird mix. Really could have been a strike bid in a different universe. He leaves the left side check mark, 2, 4, 5, 7. That 6 fill puts him at 52 and 5. Two, 4, 5, 7 for Mark Milliken. Just connect with the frontmost pin for the spare, and oof, he'll connect with the 4, 5, and the 7. He'll even kick a piece of wood forward. But the 2, the object pin, is what's left on the deck, and there's a piece of wood that's dicey. Capping that wood's dangerous, but that's more or less what you really got to do unless you want to try to play a sidewall, and no option is good. No option is fun. 9 or 10 for Mark Milliken. Yep, capping that wood, and that's precisely what I thought was going to happen. It's rough any way you slice it. That's 61 and 6 for Mark Milliken. Here's Mark Milliken. First ball. Oh, just slightly to the right of the 1-3 pocket, but there's a pin coming back. It's a Caleri minus whatever's mixing. It's the 1, 4, 7, and 9. 6 drop. 1, 4, 7, 9 for Mark Milliken, the trucker. 1, 4, 7, 9 with a lot of wood to help him. But I still say connect with the head pin. Hit the head pin. Take the spare. Milliken. Oh, and he's just off wildly off the left. He graciously took 3 pins out, but the head pin, again, the object pin, is what's left. So it'll be a salvage mission, 9 or 10. It'll be a 9 for Mark Milliken. That's 70 and 7 for the gentleman. Anyways, let's talk. Here's the visual again. The Amateur Candlepin Bowlers Tour. And Bayberry Bowling Center is the next stop on July 12th, the 10-stringer. It'll just be a raw 10-stringer with handicaps included, but sign-ups are on the Amateur Candlepin Bowlers Tour page on Facebook. So do check that out. Maybe I'll see you there, because I'll be there. Going down with Sarah Wright and Rob Trepanier, Robert, and plenty of other familiar faces if you watch the ACST. It'll be a lot of usual suspects down there. Mark Milliken on the spare bid. He leaves the 6. And there's a 10 for the gentleman, Mark Milliken. I'll show you more details about the Bayberry 10-stringer in just a moment when we have a couple extra free seconds. Mark Milliken on lane 6. Punches 2, that's a half a Worcester. Punch the 2 and the 8 of the 3 and the 9. This is the 2-8 version. Milliken's off to the right of the object pin, leaves the 1, the 5, and the 9. Another salvage mission, 7 box or greater. And he'll take a 7. That's 87 and 9 All right, so here's the details for that Stop 210 stringer at Bayberry Bowling Center in Spencer, Massachusetts. There'll be 2 shifts, 9:30 and 2. If you're an early bird and get down there for 9:30 or 2 p.m., it's up to you. It's availability pending. Sign-ups are available on the Facebook page. That's the 1 diamond and the 4 triangle. It's a 3-drop for Mark Milliken. On the pocket. Oh, and wow, that deserved better than that. He was on the pocket, but he left the 2 diamond on lane 6. And he'll make a nice 9-box out of it. That'll be a 96 game 4 for Mark Milliken. That puts him at a 4-game total of 384 with 2 marks going into the 5th. And I have a feeling that may potentially open up an opportunity for Matt Powers here. Just an inkling. But never say never. We'll see what happens. It's all about the grand total pinfall. Matt Powers opens up coming off the bench on a 7-drop. It's the 6-9-10 for Matt Powers. Piece of wood I'm a little bit worried about in front of that 6. That's a little bit too diagonal for my liking, but Matt Powers could try to brute force it or play the sidewall. Make your choice. Oh, and he decides to cap the wood from the right side, which, well, the 9-pin was kind of always the danger zone from that approach, and that resulted in the 9-pin only staying there. There's a 10-pin, or a 10-box that is for Matt Powers, 64 in 6. And when it comes to grand total pinfall, even 10 boxes can mean all the world, because like we would talk about in Men's Worlds back in November, if you get like a 10 box and your opponent gets like a 6 box, that's like the equivalent of like a free mark and a fill. So, you know, it's all about the little strategies. You know, don't get too worried about getting marks and good fills. If you're just beating your opponent box for box, you're in good standing. That's a 5-drop for Matt Powers, spread equal minus the 2. On the 3-6 pocket, he'll take the 3 and the 6. That was the object pocket, but he left the 4, the 7, and the 10. Just an odd full shot. 7, 8, 9, or 10 for Matt Powers, and the 7 even moved a bit. That'll be an 8-box. 72 and 7 for Matt Powers. Oh, wow, that was something. We've seen a couple of pins slide quite a bit at Boutwells and not fall. Guess they just might be tired from all the bowling this weekend of Mixed Worlds, and there's a 2-drop and a half Worcester for Matt Powers, but he made this shot before. He had an incredible spare just a little while ago back in box number 3. So we'll see if Matt Powers can repeat. Will he repeat on the 1-3 pocket? Oh, it looked good. It was right more or less in the same place where that previous spare was. He's left with the 5 and the 7. Powers on the 5 and the 7. He'll take a 9. That's 81 in 8 for Mr. Powers. Compare that to 80 in 8 for Mark Milliken. So he's still on pace. Mark Milliken holding on to a +5 lead in the grand total pinfall. Matt Powers, once again, still 2 boxes behind. So he's in decent shape to overtake that lead and maintain. He's been ahead this entire match up to this point at the end of each game. There's an 8-drop for Matt Powers. It's the 6 and the 10. 8-drop. 5.6 average on the first ball for Mark Milliken, 5.3 average on the first ball for Matt Powers. Matt Powers is 26 for 39. The head pin was 16 splits. On Matt Powers, who normally has a left tailing ball, it stayed very straight and just connected with the 10, leaving the 6. I'm a little surprised by that. Matt Powers, oh, there's the tail. Well, right at the wrong time. Well, it didn't connect with any pin, so it wouldn't have really been a good spare ball anyway, but that's 90 and 9 for Matt Powers, and he's currently at +4 in the total, 388 to Mark Milliken's 384, and Matt Powers isn't done yet. He still has 1 box to go in the 10th. Matt Powers is 5 for 9 on the head pin, and now 6 for 10 on the head pin, an 8-drop. 4-7 for Matt Powers. Spare leave. We've seen this go. We've also seen it not go, so it's a big question mark. But if you can get the spare, you can get extra gravy pins going into the 5th for some safety, some insurance. Not sponsored. Matt Powers, oh, it caps the wood. I was worried about that. We've seen him miss this shot a couple of times now, unfortunately. And Matt Powers looking to clean this up, and wow, the wood defeats the 3rd ball as well. So he'll go into the 5th game +12 with that 8-box, 98, 396 4-game total for Matt Powers, and a 384 4-game total for Mark Milliken. It's +12 for Matt Powers. That differential has barely budged only a few pins this whole time in Matt Powers' favor. So again, it's only just a matter of like just getting like literally a mark and a spare, or a mark and a decent fill, and that will crown the King of E-North. Here in the 5th game, it is go time. This is where the butter is breaded, if you know what I mean. Don't correct me. There's an 8 drop for Mark Milliken. 4-8 for Mark Milliken. He was on the head pin, and he's looking to spare this up. And Milliken just off to the right. Ed Sargent actually held up a piece of paper with the differential, and I'm very happy to report he held up a plus 12. So I'm very happy to say that I didn't get out of sync. So hooray. Mark Milliken for the first frame. It'll be a 9-box for Mark Milliken. Anybody's game going into the 5th. It's literally just get hot for just a little moment. Milliken off to the right. He'll drop 2, half whisk to right. Still a sparable leave. Never count this shot out. Milliken goes to the left of the object pin, leaves the 1 and the 6. It'll be an 8, 9, or 10 box. And Milliken for the 10, he'll leave the head pin for a 9. That's 18 after 2 for Mark Milliken. Hope you all are enjoying this match. Thanks for tuning into the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, the best place to watch some of the most exciting matches in Candlepin bowling from a wide selection of bowlers from all skill levels. There's a 4 drop for Mark Milliken. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 10. And he's off to the right. Bad luck there. If you like this channel, I'd encourage you to consider subscribing to help us grow. Check me out on 3 Ball Spare on YouTube as well. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch for that matter. More than just YouTube. But I like YouTube a lot, so check me out there if you can. Stream all kinds of things, not just ACST matches, also tournaments, events, shorts, highlight reels, all of that. There's a 2 drop for Mark Milliken. And he'll leave the 1 and the 10 on the spare shot. It's currently a 23 after 3. He's leaving the 1 and the 10 for an 8, 9, or 10 box for Mark Milliken. Took a little practice walk. And now for real. And he took 1 and left the other. 32 and 4 for Mark Milliken on the object pin. Hope this broadcast finds you well. Everyone here involved, from the bowlers to the staff, all appreciate your viewership and interest in the world of Candlepin bowling. We are at Boutwells Bowling Center at 152 North State Street in Concord, New Hampshire. 12 lanes on each side of the house, 24 lanes total. Presently tied with Lakeside Lanes for the largest amount of largest quantity of lanes in the state. There was an article from the Concord Monitor recently that said Boutwells was the largest, but it's tied with Lakeside technically, 24 lanes apiece. That's 40 after 4 for Mark Milliken. Bit of a tough half, no marks. 9, 9, 5, 9, 8, totaling 40. 424, 4.5 games in for Mark Milliken. It is now Matt Powers. Matt Powers' turn to rise to the challenge. And again, it's going into this. Matt Powers was plus 12. He's off to the right. He'll take 3 out. 6-pack in the 10. 1, 2, 5, 4, 7, 8, 10. Matt Powers just off to the left of the head pin. The object pin leaves the 1 and the 8 on the deck. Eight, 9, or 10 for Matt Powers. And he'll make it a 9. That's 9 after 1 for Matt Powers, matching Mark Milliken's 9 after 1. Here's Matt Powers. He'll split 5. Spread equal minus the 2. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. And for Matt Powers, he'll punch the 3 and he'll convert the broken spread eagle into a banana split, 4, 6, 7, 10. The lanes have not been kind to either bowler in this particular game so far. That'll be a 7 for Matt Powers, 16 after 2. Boutwells Bowling Center uses manual scoring and manual lane resetting, with CompuScore being the scoring software used. Boutwells was formerly owned by WNDS Candlepin Stars and Strikes co-host the late Dan Murphy, who passed away in 2022. Now owned by the Dellis family. Matt Powers drops 9, leaves the 5. Single pin spare opportunity. Matt Powers for the spare. Oh, and he's got it. That was big. That was huge. Like I said, it is the difference in the total is that small. So if you can just get a mark and a decent fill. Matt Powers was already plus 12 going into this game, into this match, and if he could just continue that trajectory, he's got it. And he's off, a little off. It's a 4 fill. 1, 3, 6, 7, 9, 10. It's all about the execution on the second ball, truly. Matt Powers has been struggling on the first ball average so far this match compared to Mark Milliken, but he's been having much better results when it comes to converting the spares. So just to put that in perspective for you. Hey, Matt Powers, it'll be a 5 box. That puts him at 35 and 4. Compare that to 32 and 4 for Mark Milliken. So plus 3 at the 4th frame and add plus 12. That puts him at plus 15 at this equivalent point in the match for Matt Powers. Matt Powers is on the head pin. A little bit of an odd splash. A drop of 6. A banana split. 4, 6, 7, 10. No wood. This can go. It's not an impossible shot. Let's see what Matt Powers can do here. Let's find out together. Matt Powers will tail off to the left. Pick the left half. Went into the channel. It'll now be for a 10 box, same shot. And for that 10 box, he'll make it a 7. That's 42 in 5 for Matt Powers. Last 5 frames of the game coming right up here. It's 424 for Mark Milliken, 438 for Matt Powers. Matt Powers currently at plus 14. He added 2 more pins to that lead from the end of the 4th going into the 5th. And it is go time now. Very close, a difference of 14 between our 2 bowlers. This is what the playoffs are all about, this competition of bowlers. Very evenly matched. No blowouts here, which is what we like to see. Just want to see some incredible bowling from either bowler. And Mark Milliken will drop a few. He'll drop 3 to be precise. That's the half Worcester plus DLC. Probably available on some kind of video game storefront of some kind. Nintendo Switch 2, I don't know. And, well, there's a few more pins down for Mark Milliken. He is the 1, the 4, the 6, and the 7. And Milliken will make that a 6 box. That's 46 and 6 for Mark Milliken. You're watching the ACST. I'm Steve Kelly, and that's Mark Milliken, the away bowler, against Matt Powers, the home bowler, here at Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Tons of people in attendance this evening. I got Scott Perry to my left. I got Paul Grant behind me. I got a whole gaggle of folks for Matt Powers, I believe, in attendance. Mark Milliken and his partner are here. We got Ed Sargent. We got the Dellises here, and a bunch of folks who stuck around from Mixed Worlds. And there's a 9 box for Mark Milliken. That will put him at a confirmed 55 and 7. That is where Mark Milliken is. He's just got to get started with a mark or 2 here in the final 3 frames to really put up the wall of defense against Matt Powers. And Mark will drop 4 so far. Off to the right of the head pin. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 6, 10. We'll take a few more out, get a decent mix. Actually, pins are still mixing. 1, 2, 8 for Mark Milliken. For a 10 box, 7 box guarantee. 7, 8, 9, or 10 for Mark Milliken. That'll be a 7 for Mr. Milliken. That's 62 and 8 for the gentleman himself, Mark Milliken. Milliken on the pocket. A quick 8 drop. 5-9. With wood. That could go. $5-9 with wood in front of the 5-9. I'm worried about that wood. But that's no problem for Mr. Milliken. He'll take that out for a spare. In fact, let's take a look at that. Play just the correct side of that wood. Right on it, full enough to take the 5-9. 5-9's a service for Mark Milliken, my favorite kind of uptime. If you know, you know. Milliken working on a spare. Not out of reach for Mark Milliken, but he really needs to pile some pins up here. This fill has to be big. He's on the 1-2 pocket. He'll drop 9. Leaving the 5 pin. That's a 19 in the 9th. 81 in 9. He's currently now plus 27, 4 boxes ahead. Piece of wood rolling back. Looks like it's about to roll back into the valid plane of existence for pins. They're in and out of play, and he'll leave the 5. Doesn't touch the 5. It rolls out of play. The piece of wood. What am I saying? It's a 5-pin, single pin lead for Mark Milliken. That's 2 spares in a row. He strung them together. That's 91 and a bonus in the 10th for Mark Milliken. Puts him at plus 37. That's the benchmark for Matt Powers. See, I told you. I knew I was going to say it. Matt Powers. Mark Milliken. If he gets a decent fill, he'll still be in this. Find out with me. Mark Milliken. Final ball of the season. In Class E North. That's a 5, leaving the pile of 5 on the left, and his wall of defense is going to be a differential of plus 42. Mark Milliken finishing with a 5-game total of 480 with 2 spares in the end and a good fill on the 9th and a good fill in the 10th, and 480 is the benchmark for Matt Powers to get. He's at 438. What's going to happen? I couldn't tell you. But this is live sport. Let's find out. Here's Matt Powers. He's off to the right.
There you go.
A late falling 6, a late falling 7, a late falling 8. Oh boy. I didn't even look to see what pocket he hit, but he left the 4 and the 7 after an eventual mix. That's the Candlepin bowling mix for you. You don't see that really often in 10-pin nor duck pin. 4-7 for Matt Powers. Fires a little bit off.
Sorry, loosen it up a little bit.
Matt Powers on the 4. He takes the 4 for a 10 box. That's 52 and 6 for Matt Powers. Powers 1-3 pocket. That's just what he needed. That's a strike for Matt Powers. What a great shot. Watch this. And that equalizes... No, it doesn't. What am I saying? Never mind. For the double. Drops 9.
Right there, buddy. There you go, buddy. Keep it going.
Spare on strike.
There you go.
And there is a 6 fill. That's just about going to do it for Mr. Powers. 4 horsemen left. 1, 2, 4, 7. That puts him over for the total. So Matt Powers is your champion of Class E North. Take a 9. That's 97 and 9 for Matt Powers. So your champion of Class E North is Matt Powers. He'll go on to face Jesse Mondor. And he'll take a 1 drop and a 1/4 Worcester. And for the spare, and that was a great shot. Watch that, converting the 1-drop to a spare. Wow. See ya. Just gravy, padding the stats out. He's at 503 in a bonus. Final ball of the season for Matt Powers. It's a 3 fill, and that is ball game. I think. There we go. Yes, confirmed. He was just waiting for the mix to finish, but... So your champion, Matthew Powers, 506 to Mark Milliken's 480. That is it. Look at that. So Mark Milliken with an 84, 104, 100, 96, 96, and that puts him at 480. Matt Powers, 95, 105, 98, 98, and 110 for a 506 in the total. And the scores, I believe, are just being confirmed, but that should be it. So the difference in the end was plus 26 for Matt Powers. He was in the driver's seat the whole time. Mark Milliken, 1 strike, 7 spares. Matt Powers, 1 strike, 8 spares. Matt Powers, 64% of the head pin. Mark Milliken, 46% on the head pin. And you can tell that, Matt Powers was just a little bit higher the whole time each game in, and that was the end. And the end, it was like just a difference of literally just a mark and a fill for Matt Powers, but he powered through. Matt Powers powered through it all the way through with his unlimited powers. So he'll move on to the bonus match of Classy North versus Classy South against Jesse Mondor. So that will be it. And it was a great season of bowling here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, and that will just about be it for all of the bowling, at least for these bowlers. And anyways, that's gonna be it. I'm just myself even a little bit speechless at the prospect, but anyways, what am I saying? So, folks, it's been great broadcasting this for you on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook. I'd like to thank our ACST committee members, including our Commissioner Danny Finn, our Class E Treasurer Maurice Perry, our statistician Micah Imperato, the staff at Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Thank Steve Abodeely for some of the B-roll and photography you've seen this evening. Check out his work at abodeely.com. Thanks for watching. I hope this was a pleasant viewing experience for you. I hope encourage you to subscribe to the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook and YouTube, as well as 3 Ball Spare on YouTube, Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube, and Candlepin Corner on YouTube. And for Matt Powers and Mark Milliken, and for everyone here at Boutwells Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire, I've been Steve Kelly, and we'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match. Have a great one, everyone. Good evening.